Hello everyone. In our last class, we had already discussed about what do you mean by formal organization, what are the features of formal organization, as in we can revise about that formal organization is that kind of structure which is followed by each and every company by making a rules. The top management is responsible for making rules, to formulating the rules and regulations, and the middle and lower management is required to manage or to do the work according to the rules set by particular top management persons. Clear? There is a strict rules and regulations guidelines. Now, while talking about the formal organization structure, we are required to talk about what are the advantages of formal organization. So let's begin with our very first topic, advantages of formal organization. First is easier to fix responsibilities since mutual relationships are clearly defined. In case of formal organization, there is easy to set a relationship because each and every person known that who is superior to whom, who is a subordinate, as well as who is liable, who is responsible for whom, who is liable to answer or direct to whom person. As in case of formal organization structure, let's see how the formal organization structure works with. Suppose this is MD of company, he is giving jobs or he is formulating the plans or strategies, formulating plans or strategies under him. There are, suppose, 4 kind of employees are working, or I must say the 4 kind of departments are working, as in one who is dealing with the HR department, another is dealing with the marketing department, another is dealing with the production department, and the last one is dealing with, suppose, financial requirement. Clear? In case of HR, suppose there is an employee A who is dealing with recruitment procedure, a person B who is dealing with the training procedure, in case of marketing department, a person C who is dealing with the advertisement sector, a person D who is dealing with your sales promotion activities, same in case of production, a person named as E is dealing with the stock valuation crisis, as in how you can value your stock. A person F deals with as a stock keeper or inventory keeper or inventory manager, I must say. In case of finance, suppose there is a person G who is responsible for doing all kind of fundings, receipts, payments, etc. This is basically the formal organizational structure framed by the top management, that is MD. He made a policy regarding what kind of structure I need to follow. According to them, he followed the 4 departments, as in HR, production, marketing and finance, as well as he told that Mr. MD told that HR need to hire A and B for particular work. He told that marketing is hire C and D, production will hire E and F, and finance will hire G. Clear? So it clearly defined what is the mutual relationship between superior and subordinate, as well as what kind of levels you need to manage. In our case, they belongs to the superior subordinate relationship, as in A and B are subordinates of HR. So HR will be a superior, HR will be superior, and A and B are subordinate. Clear, my friends? So it is easier to fix responsibilities since mutual relationships are clearly defined. No overlapping or duplicity of work because things moves according to a definite plan. In case of formal organization, there is no duplication in the work because each and every work is allotted to each and every person. See, my dear friends, in this chart, each work is allocated to separate persons, as in A is required to do recruitment, B is required for training, C is required for advertisement, D is required for sales promotion, E for stock valuation, F for stockkeeper, or G is managing finance. So they know what kind of relation, what kind of duties they need to perform. Clear, my friends? So there was no overlapping or duplicity of work. Next is unity of command through an established chain of command. There is a unity of command. Unity of command means there will be a single direction or the direction given by the single superior, so that each and every superior got the proper result, as well as each and every subordinate knows that who are their superior are. Next is, it is easy to achieve objectives because coordination and optimum use of human and material resources. It is easy to achieve objectives. How? As in, already top management knows that what kind of resources is required or to be given to what kind of person, how much resources should be allocated to whom. They already know about that. Then, my dear friends, they will deal about what kind of resources should be given to A, B, C, D, E, F and G respectively. Accordingly, they will deal with your scenario. Yeah. Next is stability in the organization because behavior of employees can be fairly predicted since there are specific rules to guide them. There is a stability in the organization. How? As in, the rules are created or set or formed by MD. He created a rule how my production department will work, how my HR department will work, how my finance department will work. Thereafter, he made the rules regarding how HR as well as HR will hire the employees, as well as what kind of employees they are required. Same thing applies on some different departments. So there is a proper stability, or I must say the fixed kind of rule is following to do the business. This is generally maintained to maintain your particularly plans, particular rules and regulations. That's because why the whole organization's structure is stable as before. Clear, my friends? Let's revise the concept again. It's easier to fix responsibilities. Next is reducing overlapping or duplicacy activities. Next is unity of command. Next is easy to achieve objectives, and next is stability in the organization. Stability in the organization. See, Now you need to write these advantages in your exam. In our next video, we will discuss about what are the disadvantages of formal organization. Till then, thank you.